Ladies and gentlemen, children of the interwebs, it's Sebastian Envy, the strong-style nerd, strong-style cinephile. Now, this is a bit later than I usually want to get these out, but Doom Patrol Episode 3 is out there, so let's geek about it for a few minutes here. The episode finds the Kinda team continuing their search for the Chief. They find a clue in some files of his, though, a photograph of the dimensional donkey from the last episode. Cliff also finds his own file with his daughter's phone number in it and contemplates using it a few times in the episode. Paraguay is the plan once they learn the location of the donkey photo. Led by Cyborg, the plan at first is for them to take a Star Labs private plane to continue the mission, but they hit a wall when Vic's father decides to cut him off from the money and resources of Star Labs, since Victor will not return home. So the plan then is to travel by bus. A comedic montage situation develops as they all split driving duties along the 2-week trek to Paraguay until the negative being inside Larry sabotages the bus in a location that is nowhere near Paraguay. Team crashes at a hotel, and some infighting in the morning leads to another of Jane's superpowered personalities, Flit, taking over and teleporting them the rest of the way. Well, a couple of them. Jane, Cliff, and Larry continue their search, and by a stroke of luck end up at the facility Mr. Nobody found all those years ago. It's a facility that grants superhuman powers for a hefty fee. It's called Fuktopia. They're in the company of another man who knows all about the facility and is there for that purpose, to get kind of juiced up. Through a puppet show, yes, a puppet show, the trio learns that the Chief was present during the creation of Mr. Nobody and even put a few rounds into the Nazi scientist responsible, as well as the container housing Mr. Nobody. The scientist, as it turns out, is still alive. He attempts to capture Jane and Cliff to some rather bloody consequences. In the meantime, Victor and Rita bond over the lasting effects of Mr. Nobody's torture from the previous episode, just as Victor's father beeps in and serves up the jet for them to go home. So, wow, where to even start with everything there is to unpack in this episode? I'm tempted to call it a Larry focus episode as we dip into his past. We see events leading up to his fateful test flight. We see him and his secret lover, a man who wants more than Larry is fit to give him. We see his wife teetering on the edge, who is mentally ready to give up on their relationship. Larry continues to be at odds with the negative being, insistent that the negative being is the one who messed up his life, his future. His wife leaves him after the accident, and he tells his boyfriend to kick rocks, crushing a number of hearts and hopes and dreams with his indecisiveness, his self-centered outlook. He wanted his cake and to eat it too, and it blew up in his face, quite literally. Larry's actually separated from the being in a special chamber, one he'd hoped would actually separate the two of them for good, so the being could get where it wanted to go or supposed to go. Or thus far, the being has not said a word, so we don't know its intentions for Larry. And again, I have not read the Doom Patrol comics, so I don't know if they ever get to an amicable relationship, Larry and the being. So I'm intrigued personally of where it's going to go from here. Now, as stated, Cliff snatches the phone number for his daughter and contemplates calling her, but things change at the Nazi doctor's compound, though. While at first he asks, what they can do for him, and the fact that he can't feel anything. He's just a brain in a can. When they attack him, he launches into a bloody berserker rage mode that leaves several bodies in his wake. Now, after seeing the damage he caused, I think he realized there's no going back, and he had to leave his old life behind. He even crumpled up the paper with the number on it and tossed it in the jet on the way home. I think that shuts the door on his effort to reconnect with who he once was. Now, we touch on a bit of Jane and what makes her who she is. She's chosen to let her personalities be and to do what they want when they want to do it. They don't control her. She doesn't control them. She even imparts some of that wisdom on Larry, that perhaps the negative being inside him wouldn't treat him like crap if he showed it more respect. And Jane is offered the chance to have her personalities taken out of her with only the core Jane remaining, but she passes on the offer. And she riles up the Nazi scientist, mentioning the Chief, which touches off the battle and the bloodshed, as I mentioned before. On the plane on the way home, Jane scribbles on the window of the plane that control is a tool for fascists. Which exact part of Jane scribbled it, we may not exactly know. It could have been regular Jane, but also could have been Hammerhead. Some of those personalities don't cause a physical change. Now, as I'm wondering in the aftermath of the last episode just how Victor's relationship with his father was going to play out, if it was going to continue to be kind of as cordial as it appeared to be, and we see that it's definitely going to have its bumps. Silas Stone cut Victor off from Star Labs resources in the beginning, but in the end, had to swoop in to be Captain Save-A-Ho with Victor. I think in an effort to make Victor owe him something, to show him that Victor was always going to need him, while Vic is trying to leave that behind. And we get a little Rita. Nothing really groundbreaking with her story in this episode. Some humor, but not much progression. But that's okay. Everybody can't get focused on all the time. The show has me looking forward to the next episode, and for my money, it's tracking better to be better than Titans at this point. Their storytelling is smooth and on point, at least through 3 episodes. They have 10 episodes left to continue that, or, royally screw it up. We'll see how it all goes. I think even the song at the end of this episode was some of the lyrics. I didn't see exactly what was the name of the song, but even some of the lyrics were talking about going home. And I think part of this episode with Cliff realizing that his way to his past was gone. I think Jane having the opportunity to get her personalities taken out of her and to just be the regular Jane. She's not trying to go back to that. She's just moving forward and finding the way home. Victor wanting to move past his, out of his father's shadow, out of his father's heavy hand. The heavy hand that's always been there in the past. I think he wants to go forward and just find a new home for himself. Also, I didn't note before that in the early going of the episode, we see Victor reliving the moment where he caused the accident that led to his mom's death and his accident, the explosion that wrecked his body and stuff. And we find out that an explosion came from outside the lab into the lab that caused it. So I guess that'll be something we'll figure out, who was the one that, blew up the lab and created him and killed his mom. Was it enemies of Star Labs? Was it enemies of Silas Stone, or enemies of his mom, whose name we don't know yet, I don't think. Hopefully it doesn't turn out that it's like some thing that Silas himself like set off or something in order to then put Victor in the position to create Cyborg. That would be dumb. I can see that being a possibility. Maybe. I don't know. But I don't know. I don't think that'd be good. But anyway, those are some of my thoughts on the episode. It just continues to be a great show. That's why I'm not even going like super in depth on my recaps. I mean, you guys need to check out the show. It's totally worth it. It's a totally great show that you need to be watching. But those are some of my thoughts on it. More importantly, what do you guys out there think? Comment below. Let's get some conversation going about it. Still got a couple more videos to come that I know of on figure swappers. I might just rage at that. It's 4 something as I'm recording this, and it's T-minus 5 hours or so until I'm going to see Captain Marvel this evening. Super stoked about it. In general, I'm still kind of not sold on Brie Larson. The trailers and commercials she has not drawn me in, and I know there's a whole big controversy and whether it's justified or just made up by people with agendas, people who are, throwing labels on this and dismissing this film and hoping it fails as some, social justice warrior, ultra feminist, left wing, liberal, thing. Whatever. I'm not even trying to get mired in all that. I just want a good, kick butt comic book movie. So hopefully that's what this film actually is, as far as just from that standpoint. Brie Larson has not sucked me in. I'm looking forward to it because it's another movie in the Marvel cinematic universe. It's another step towards Avengers Endgame. So I'm looking forward to it from that standpoint. Not so much, oh my God, I need this Brie Larson in this, because she's just drawing me in. I know she's a talented actress. She's an Oscar winner. So I don't know if it was like direction, or maybe there's just marketing has been totally just wrong in this movie, and it's really, there's more personality in it than we've been led to believe through the trailers and the TV spots, stuff like that. Hopefully that's the case. Hopefully I just enjoy it. But that's happening tonight. So regardless, I'm excited. Just want to go see a good movie. This weekend, CWF TV tapings again. Gonna go places, kick faces as only I can do, and do so well. So be sure, if you haven't checked out CWF TV yet, you need to check that out, see what we're doing on there. See some good action, good message. So definitely check that out. To follow me, social media, hit me up on there. Let's converse there, let's converse here. Let's geek.